welcome to week 4. This week we're going to be talking a lot about assistive technology in reading. We're also going to discuss briefly dyslexia and cacography. What's the definition of assistive technology? Assistive technology are devices for people with disabilities. They include the process used in selecting, locating, and using these devices. It does not necessarily mean that the device requires technology. So let's start with dyslexia. What is dyslexia? It's a language-based learning disability, often has difficulty interpreting the sound or phonological components of language. People with dyslexia have difficulty learning to read or interpreting words, letters, and other symbols, and they need accommodations to assist them in gathering information so that their learning can be enhanced. Here and on the next slide, I have a checklist of characteristics for dyslexia that you can go to. There are characteristics such as having trouble finishing assignments, demonstrating messy handwriting, confusing words and sounds, difficulty when reading out loud, and difficulty in spelling is often seen. So what's some assistive technology that would be helpful for someone with dyslexia? Highlighters are some assistive technology that is extremely effective. Personal listening devices such as iPods and iPhones. Dragon Naturally Speaking, it's a voice recognition program. Nowadays, iPods, iPhones, and computers also have a voice recognition program that you can use that we'll be talking about in accessibility features next in your videos. What are the 3 research-based best possible multi-sensory instructional methods for those with dyslexia? Right now, they're all Orton-Gillingham-based approaches, and one is Barton, the next one would be Wilson, and then the final one is Lindemuth-Bell. And you'll get to see a sample throughout this course of each of those. The Kindle Fire, the iPad Mini, the Nexus 7, these are just some portable devices that allow students to have built-in text-to-speech capability. They also can help students by reading it aloud. Some of these devices even have the ability to annotate and highlight the text right on the device as it's being read aloud. You'll get to see the reading pen in action, but it's one of my favorite devices for English as second language students and those who really struggle with ever being able to become fluent. The device is a scanner that allows you to put the device up to any specific reading and it will scan it and then read that out loud. It will also translate that into different languages. There are many text-to-speech applications. There's a video on the free accessibility features in one of your next videos. But some of the other free ones are Read Please. It's a free text-to-speech software. You can upgrade to a more thorough version, but the free one is very good as well. It really has customized font and background colors. It reads text via Windows Clipboard from any program. It can read emails, even emoticons, adjustable voice speed, and really low vision color options. There are many text-to-speech products out there. These are just a few. ClickSpeak. It comes in a bundle. Text Help, Read and Write Gold is a great one. Firefox has text-to-speech. Also, Premier Assistive Accessibility Suite is a great one. And most of these highlight the text as it speaks aloud. Natural Reader 10 is a text-to-speech software that really has natural-sounding voices, which really helps students stay engaged. It's less robotic and technical. Vocalize is a free service that reads popular websites to you. You can customize your playlist to include websites that you visit often, and it works on computers and Android devices. There are a lot of different kinds of scan and read systems other than the reading pen. One is Win. It's from freedomscientific.com. It has a lot of great resources for teachers. Kurzweil is another one. They have a free version that you can get, but there's also a full version that scans and reads with pretty good accuracy. Thinking Reader is actually set up as a comprehension strategy. It allows students to read and to get help as they're reading, applying those reading strategies, monitoring their own comprehension, answering questions at various levels, creating mental images, and visualizing. Read 180 from Scholastic and WordMaker and Simon Sounds It Out are also good options where students are allowed to use various combinations of letters. Students receive words they have mastered so that they can continue to recognize these words in multiple settings. Graphic organizers are another part of assistive technology. You're going to watch a video on a lot of different graphic organizing sites. One of them is Gist, and it's really one of the best sites out there for various kinds of graphic organizers. When thinking about graphic organizers and different ways to present information, another great one is comic strips or linking. Here are two of the best comic strip versions to assist students, Kerpoof and Animoto. You can make a movie or make a photo out of each of these, or just make a comic strip, whichever you desire. Discovery Learning is a great pay-for site that allows for a lot of videos and audios that go with what they're learning. And then Book Builder is actually a free site from CAST that allows students to create a book, share those books, and demonstrate what they've learned. Neo word processors, and there are other little calculator side word processors. What they do is they help students type, and then the word processor predicts what they think they're going to be able to spell, or gives a drop down menu of what it could be so that the student can select the correct word. Booksource.org is a website that has over 200,000 print articles, and they can be read aloud to students. There's a membership fee, but students can qualify for free membership if they have a disability and can document that disability. A few other good resources are the Gutenberg Project. It has over 20,000 titles that you're able to download and hear aloud. Bookshare has 33,450 books and 150 periodicals that are converted to Braille, large print, or text-to-speech files. And the Department of Education allows access to these books. Read, Write, Think is a great website for lessons and different kind of like Kidspiration and Inspiration, different graphic organizer ideas. And then Thinkfinity is another one that you should definitely check out for some great literacy activities. The International Dyslexia Association is also a great site. It has a lot of newsletters and resources that are completely free. It's a nonprofit organization to help those with dyslexia. Next, we're going to move on to cacography. That is the study of handwriting or spelling. It actually causes businesses to lose around $200 million a year for various reasons, including prescriptions written that couldn't be read correctly, telephone calls to wrong numbers, undeliverable letters and packages, sloppy tax returns, all kinds of different reasons. So this is just a brief glance to you at when writing really started and where we're at now. Often, handwriting and spelling instruction really comes before reading instruction because we start those kids out, 3-year-olds, coloring and trying to stay within the lines. But there is research that shows the better handwriting a student has, the better they are at spelling later in life. There are actually a number of syndromes related to handwriting. The one that's most well known is dysgraphia, and you watched a video about that last week. It's really slow, non-automatic letter formation, illegible handwriting, some of the reversals as you're writing. Specific agraphia is when letter shapes, letter sequences, and motor patterns are impaired. They know how to spell, but they can't get that information from their brain to their hand. Then there's motor memory dysfunction. That is trouble integrating the motor output with the memory input. So they struggle in recalling sequences and in moving their hand to make that specific letter. There's also graphomotor production deficit, and that really involves the muscles of the wrist and forearm, not really the fingers or the hand. And motor feedback problem, or what we call finger agnosia. That's when the hand doesn't tell the brain where it is in space, so it takes a long time for that person to be able to write because they have to figure out where their hand is in relation to the pencil, and you often see these students holding pencils with fists. On our interactive week, I will give you some examples of how to determine which is going on with your student. Next, the developmental stages of handwriting. Imitation, that usually happens in preschool to first grade. That's really the student is just imitating what they see. Graphic presentation is really first to second grade, and that's when reversals are okay. That's when students start showing their knowledge with words. Next is progressive incorporation, and that happens in late second to fourth grade. You really want most of your reversals fixed by this time, because at this time writing is less conscious and there's less effort on formation. Next is automatization. That happens in 4th through 7th grades. It's when students communicate in writing and they're assessed in their writing. Then elaboration, 7th through 9th grade, when they really express their point of views through writing. Personalization, diversification is 9th grade and beyond, and really start to show their writing talent. On our interactive week, I will also show you a little bit about multisensory handwriting. Handwriting without tears is an example of multisensory handwriting, and it requires good posture, appropriate pencil grip, appropriate paper position, and letter formation, spacing, and eventually punctuation and spelling. Remind me on our interactive week to kind going to discuss with you why different handwriting programs decide to start differently. Next, we have a writing sample of a student who does not have dysgraphia. You'll notice that their capital letters are capital, they stay lowercase. There are large spaces between letters and words, but that's not abnormal for that age level, and they do have some punctuation periods. This is a sample of a student with dysgraphia, where there's a lot of mix between upper and lowercase. There's not much spacing similarity. Some are really put together, some are not. You'll have upper and lower cases throughout the writing. Sometimes you'll have flipped words, sometimes you'll have sentences without any punctuation. There's a lot of different components to look for when you're looking for a student who may have dysgraphia. At the bottom of this week, I'm going to be showing you kind of a screener to help you determine if the student might have dysgraphia. So what are some low-tech assistive technologies for those with dysgraphia? Well, first, raised line paper helps with the spacing as well as the formation so that the letters don't continue on past their lines. It also gives a visual prompt for students. Graph paper, especially in math, when turned sideways, can assist with spacing and unwanted support without letting them look different from their peers. On our interactive week, I'm going to be showing you some pencil grips that are also a form of assistive technology. An Alpha Smart would be considered a mid-tech solution for those with dysgraphia. The high-tech options, one of the best ones I found is a Smart Pen. The Smart Pen varies in its pricing from $80 to $580, depending on what you'd like. The Smart Pen, what it does is as the student's writing, they can make a picture, they can just write one word, and it records what the professor or anyone who's talking is saying, and then later the student can go put their pen right on that picture or that word, and it will repeat back just that section of the presentation. Foxit Reader is a free technology where students can scan any of their documents and then type in answers directly onto the worksheets so the students don't have to do as much writing. WordQ and SpeakQ are software programs that you do have to buy, but it's a word prediction program, and it does grammar, proofreading, it has a microphone for dictation, it also has speech recognition features, and reads text from online sites for the user. The first website, Teacher Scholastic, they actually have audiobooks that have a cognition reading coach who interjects to ask questions to students as they're reading, and it helps them really with the deepening of the meaning of the reading. It's also nice because the actors reading the text are really fluent and have natural pauses. Naturalreaders.com is a great one, dyslexichealth.com UK, and the interdyslexia.org are also great sites for free resources for those with dyslexia. The last things I want to point out to you is the Moodle this week. You have the PowerPoint of what I just went over with you. This next thing is an assistive technology. It gives you all kinds of ideas of low, middle, and high technology for students on the autism spectrum. It's a great resource for any teacher. I highly recommend it. You can use it in a Word just by searching for what you're looking for, and it'll take you directly to that section. The same thing with my 60-page internet website guide. You can use the search function, and say you're looking for high school reading websites, you just put in high school reading, and then it would take you to those sites. Or maybe you're looking for elementary math, it'll take you to those websites and apps. The dysgraphia checklist I was telling you about is here as well, and then you can also find checklists for dyslexia at these last two websites. On the question for this week, if you're responding to number 1, you only need this article and this visual, but if you're responding to 2, which is right there, you actually need to go up and watch this first and then respond to number 2 if that's the one you've chosen for this week. After this video, you'll have 2 more videos that are mislabeled. Don't worry about it. This is actually video 2 of 5 and this is 3 of 5, but they're going to walk you through some websites that are great resources and can be considered assistive technology as well. The last video is about the accessibility features that you have on your own computers and iPads that are completely free and how to access them. And finally, in your reading this week, I want to make sure that you really look at figure 15.1, 15.2, 3, and 4 in guided reading because it will help you a lot in your reading instruction. I'm also putting down here some websites that are great to explore that maybe weren't able to really be included as much in detail as I would want to because of time's sake, but they're there for you as well. And then there is a free pop-up blocker that I highly recommend everyone use who has students. You can add it as an extension on AdBlock. If AdBlock's unavailable, you can go here and find out your other options. It will even take commercials off of ABC's television shows. This final thing is a quick website about Universal Design for Learning. We're going to be talking about that a lot next week. See you you might want to check it out. All of these pop-up blockers are free. Be sure to watch all of the videos. There are 5 this week, and we will see you next week.